Did anyone ever speak honestly about what life is really like after 80? Stepping into your 80s brings a quiet change that few people mention, not the obvious things like more candles on a cake or slower mornings, but the deeper shifts that often stay unspoken. This stage of life holds wisdom and loss, closeness and distance, calm moments, and sometimes deep loneliness. And when you're not ready for these changes, they can arrive suddenly, leaving you thinking, why did no one warn me? In this video, we're exploring 5 hard truths about life after 80, not to frighten you or bring you down, but to give you awareness. Because once you understand what's ahead, these realities lose their power over you. You can prepare, adjust, and face them with strength instead of shock. We'll talk about circles that slowly shrink, a body that no longer recovers the same way, the growing need for assistance that feels uncomfortable, the quiet way society begins to overlook you, and the ache that can come when old regrets meet too much time and too little direction. Stay with us until the end, because while these truths may feel heavy, they also open the door to something meaningful: acceptance, inner strength, and the chance to shape this chapter of life with dignity that only you can define. Let's talk about what truly happens after 80 and how to walk through it with awareness, steady resolve, and your head held high. Number 1. A social circle that slowly fades. One of the earliest changes after 80 isn't physical, it's social. The people who once filled your days gradually disappear, often without notice. Friends pass away, neighbors move, siblings grow quieter, and even those who once checked in regularly start reaching out less often. It's rarely intentional, it's simply time moving forward, but it leaves behind a space that can feel empty no matter how strong you are. One day you realize the phone stays silent longer, invitations become rarer, family visits feel shorter and more rushed. The love is still there, but life pulls people in many directions, and slowly, the everyday conversations that once brought warmth and connection begin to thin out. No one really prepares you for this. In your 60s and 70s, most people are still present. There's activity, shared routines, regular contact. But after 80, something changes. You begin to outlive people. You move beyond shared memories, and it happens quietly. So quietly, you may not notice it at first. I once knew an 84-year-old man named Henry who went to the same cafe every morning for years. The staff knew his order, friends joined him without planning. It was part of his life rhythm. But gradually, those friends stopped coming. Some passed away, some moved, others could no longer drive. One day he said to me, "It's strange walking into a place where everyone once knew you, and now you're just the man sitting alone." That kind of loneliness isn't always loud. It doesn't always show as tears or obvious sadness. Sometimes it's just the quiet after dinner or a walk that feels too still. It's realizing the number of people who truly know you is shrinking, and you can't stop it. But understanding this truth gives you power. You can create new connections even when old ones fade. You can reach out on your own terms through a faith group, a regular lunch, a phone call you start, or even a handwritten letter. After 80, connection doesn't come automatically. You have to seek it, and that takes courage. But if you've made it this far, you already have that strength. Number 2, a body that no longer rebounds. By the time you reach 80, your body doesn't whisper anymore. It speaks clearly. Small aches don't fade as quickly. Fatigue lingers longer. And the truth that surprises many is this: after 80, even minor health issues can change your daily life fast. You might feel fine in the morning, go about your routine, and by evening something feels off. A bit of dizziness, a sore joint, a cough that won't go away. Suddenly, you're hearing words like tests, observation, or hospital stay. What once needed rest now demands attention. And often, there's no full return to how things were. What makes this stage hard isn't just discomfort, it's unpredictability. You can eat well, stay active, sleep enough, and still feel like your body is making choices without asking you. A small fall can mean weeks of recovery. A short illness can drain you longer than expected. And even after healing, things may not feel the same. I once met a woman named Dolores, 81,
sharp-minded and fiercely independent. She loved gardening, walking her block, attending book club meetings. But after a simple fall while trimming flowers, her routine changed completely. It wasn't the injuries, she told me. It was what came after. Rest turned into weakness. Confidence slipped. I thought I paused, she said, but my body treated it like a stop. That's what no one tells you. After 80, rest doesn't always restore the way it used to. Sometimes it leads to decline if you're not careful. And sometimes, even when you are careful, the body still slows down. You realize you're not bouncing back, you're adjusting forward. But awareness brings wisdom. You learn to respect your energy. You pace yourself with intention, not fear. You treat health as something to tend daily, not something guaranteed. And even if your body moves slower, your awareness grows stronger. You walk with care. You rest with purpose. And you learn that a slower body can still carry a powerful spirit. If you're still watching and finding value here, comment the number 2 below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content. Number 3, needing help becomes unavoidable. No matter how independent you've been, one of the toughest realities after 80 is this. You begin to need help with things that once felt effortless. It doesn't happen suddenly. It creeps in quietly. One day you avoid reaching high shelves, you grip railings tighter, you hesitate before driving in bad weather. Part of you still feels capable, but another part knows things have changed. The hardest part isn't physical, it's emotional. If you spent decades caring for others, becoming the one who needs help can feel deeply uncomfortable. You may feel like a burden. You may hide struggles, skip tasks, avoid telling family when you fall, or push yourself to do things that hurt. The desire to stay independent doesn't disappear, it often grows stronger. But independence after 80 looks different. It's no longer about doing everything alone, it's about knowing when to ask and when to accept support. I knew an 85-year-old man named Arthur who took pride in doing everything himself. He survived war, raised 4 children, built structures with his own hands. One winter, he slipped on ice. Nothing broke, just his pride. He told no one, but his daughter noticed changes. She began visiting weekly with groceries and coffee. At first, Arthur resisted. "I'm fine," he said, but eventually he admitted, "It's nice not carrying everything alone." That's the shift. Accepting help isn't losing independence, it's protecting it. Letting someone help you means saving your energy for what truly matters. And help doesn't always mean people. It can be safety bars, a stool, reminders, or tools that make life easier. These supports don't take dignity away, they preserve it. After 80, one of the strongest things you can say is, "I need a little help." Because choosing safety over pride and connection over isolation is wisdom earned over a lifetime.
Number 4, when the world slowly stops noticing you. One of the most painful truths about life after 80 has little to do with health or memory. It has to do with visibility. Gradually, you may start to feel unseen, not always by the people closest to you, but by the wider world. A cashier talks past you. A doctor directs answers to your adult child instead of you. A waiter assumes you can't hear well or make your own choices. At first, it feels small. Then it happens again and again. And even if you pretend it doesn't matter, it settles somewhere deep inside. Because at any age, being seen still matters. After a lifetime of working, deciding, raising families, solving problems, and surviving hard seasons, it can feel deeply unsettling to be overlooked simply because your body has aged. What makes it harder is that this treatment is rarely cruel on purpose. The world moves fast. It forgets that slower steps still carry wisdom. It glorifies youth and forgets the strength required to grow old. And if you don't push back, you may start to fade. Not because your voice is gone, but because fewer people pause to hear it. I once met a woman named Eleanor, 86, who volunteered at a local museum.
One afternoon, a visitor asked a question about a historical period Eleanor had lived through herself, yet the question was directed to someone else standing nearby. When I asked her how it felt, she smiled and said, "I'm used to it." But her smile held sadness, the kind that comes from being treated like part of the background instead of a living story. But you are not background. You are not invisible. You are still thinking, still contributing, still here. And just because the world sometimes forgets does not mean you should. So what can you do? You speak anyway. You ask questions. You share opinions. You vote. You tell your stories, even when no one asks. You stand your ground, even if your legs feel unsteady. Every time you take up space, you remind others and yourself that you are still present, still relevant, still valuable. You are a living archive of experience, a witness to decades, a voice that continues to matter. You don't need to shout. You just need to refuse to fade. If you're still watching and finding value here, comment number 4 below to let us know you're with us. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Your support allows us to keep creating meaningful content. Now, let's continue.
Number 5. Regret can grow if purpose isn't reimagined. As your 80s continue, a different kind of quiet may enter your life. Not just in your home or schedule, but within you. Life slows down. Days open up, and with that space comes reflection, remembering, replaying moments. This can be comforting, but it can also become heavy, not loud or dramatic, but quiet and persistent. Thoughts like, "I wish I had more time with them," or "Why didn't I take that chance?" These feelings often appear when time feels abundant, but energy or opportunity feels limited. This side of aging isn't discussed very often. We talk about wisdom, retirement freedom, grandchildren, and rest, and those things are real. But so is the silent question many people face: what now? When your identity has been built around work, caregiving, responsibility, or service, the absence of those roles can feel like a loss of direction. Purpose can feel blurred. I once knew a man named Miles, 88, who spent more than 40 years as a teacher. After retiring, he felt accomplished, but also empty. "No one needs me anymore," he once said. That wasn't true. He simply hadn't discovered his next role yet. Because purpose doesn't disappear with age, it changes form. Maybe you no longer build things, but you build confidence by listening. Maybe you no longer lead teams, but you lead with calm when others are hurting. Maybe you no longer fix big problems, but you ease loneliness with kindness. Purpose after 80 is often quieter, but no less meaningful. Regret doesn't come from mistakes alone. It comes from sitting with them too long without transforming them. When you redefine purpose, not as output, but as presence, you begin to see that you still have something powerful to offer, to others and to yourself. The most important work you do after 80 may not bring recognition. It may simply be waking each day with compassion, curiosity, and the courage to ask, "How can I add a little light today?" That isn't regret, that's renewal, and it's always possible. Reaching your 80s isn't an ending, it's a powerful chapter shaped by everything you've lived through. The challenges may be real, but so is your strength, your wisdom, and your ability to choose how you move forward. If something in this video spoke to you, let us know in the comments. Your voice matters here. And if you found value in today's message, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need it. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you in the next video.